Hello world, this is Jeffrey, JJB146 Blake from Hoopa Hideout, coming to you with the latest VOD review of a league challenge that we held at Oinkers Island last weekend. For those of you not watching this immediately when it premieres, this was the last weekend in November, the first challenge that we've held in the Paradox Rift format, immediately following the LAIC weekend. This was the weekend immediately following Thanksgiving. Simultaneous to this event, Gdansk Regional and Brisbane Regionals were being played out. So we see some adjustments to lists from LAIC, different tech cards and stuff come into play, but any further meta evolution that eventually comes down was not yet here. With that, we'll go ahead and get started with our round one match featuring Aaron on the right here playing a Lost Zone Giratina deck, and Sam on the left here playing a Serena EX deck. So we see Sam starts off drawing a Serena EX for turn, playing an Ultra Ball and discarding a Panic Mask, and I think that, I'm not sure what the other card there is. But he uses it to retrieve a Barrel. I honestly don't like the play here, because he can't use the Barrel right now. So there's no reason to play the Ultra Ball and search it out yet. And we're discarding resources. What if he has a card that comes up that would have been better to discard? What if he finds a use for one of the cards he discarded on the next turn? What if his hand gets Iono'd away? Not likely in against the Lost Zone deck, but I'd rather just hold the Ultra Ball until you're going to be able to use it. Now we do see Aaron start things off, starting with that Comfy in the active, goes ahead and plays a Battle VIP Pass to get 2 more Comfies out. He wants to be tearing through his Lost Zone, building it up quickly, and also seeing what he can get off of those cards. We see a Flower Selecting leading into a Giratina V-Star in the Lost Zone, and an Energy comes off of that, which lets Aaron bench and then use the Concealed Cards ability of Radiant Greninja. A Switch card leads to a different Comfy in the active, and Flower Selecting gets rid of a Sableye in favor of keeping a Nest Ball. The Nest Ball gets played, and we'll see a Giratina come down into the active, or onto the bench. Based on little bits of what I saw in Aaron's hand, I think we may see, let's see, do we just have, yeah, okay. I was trying to determine, is there enough switching cards to make sense to try to get another Comfy going, or if he was just going to attach to the Giratina V. That's what he chose to do, and now he's using the Abyss Seeking attack to look at his top 4 cards and send 2 to the Lost Zone while adding the other 2 to his hand, choosing to Lost Zone a Boss's Orders and a Water Energy. Now we do see Sam over here go ahead and evolve up into that Barrel, and we see another Ultra Ball get played. Discarded another Panic Mask and the De-Evolution TM. We see a Vanillite come down, and that reveals exactly the makeup of this Serena EX deck. So what this deck is seeking to do, for 1 energy, Serena EX can attack any Pokemon on Aaron's side of the field and do add enough damage counters to them that they have only 30 hit points remaining. Now, the Vanillite eventually can evolve into a Vanillux that prevents any Pokemon with 30 HP or less from attacking. So the 2 comboing together can aim to shut down a lot of decks. That said, Aaron plays enough switching cards, and specifically switching carts, that he can often heal enough damage to make that a non-issue. We do see a Hisuian Heavy Ball get played on Sam's side, and he's able to retrieve a second Bonsweet. Bonsweet goes down onto the bench. We see another Nest Ball played down as well. This will retrieve, what are we getting? Looks like another Vanillite. So given that we've seen Water Energies played on Sam's side, I'd kind of like to see that Manaphy come into play, protecting our benched Pokemon, because it looks pretty vulnerable, and if Aaron can get another 3 cards into the Lost Zone, that's just 1 Flower Selecting combined with 1 Colress, he'd be off to the races with the Radiant Greninja attacking and taking out multiple benched Pokemon. So like I say, with that in mind, I'd like to see a Manaphy have come down there. Looks like Sam is trying to make up his mind about where he's going to go here. I kind of don't see any plays available for him. He is choosing to bring up the Radiant Greninja, and this is a little bit dangerous. because now Aaron is that much closer to being able to attack with that Radiant Greninja. We do see a water energy in Aaron's hand, but he is going to have to do some more Lost Zone action with flower selecting before he can really get there. We see a Cramorant come down, adding to that Giratina in the active. So even if Aaron isn't able to pull off a Greninja play now and having attached to that Jet Energy, he probably can't. He definitely can do what ended up happening, making a Spin Innocently knockout via the Cramorant. Sam top decks the rare candy here, so he will be able to evolve into Serena EX, using that energy search to go ahead and get a grass energy into the hand, straight out of the deck. We'll see that energy attachment and then the rare candy evolution. And now Sam has an empty hand, so he can Industrious Incisors, fill that hand back up with 5 fresh new cards. And we see a Squovit. And he has a Nest Ball in hand too. Will he play? Yes, he's going to go ahead and play it. Again, I'd like to see that Manaphy come into play here because the board is looking very enticing. And now we're full, which means that there's no Manaphy coming down until something gets knocked out. And that sounds like prime Radiant Greninja territory. One thing that Sam could do, if he recognized that Greninja was one of the big threats right now, he could put the damage counters. Okay, he's going to play Iono and mix up Aaron's hand. Definitely a good call there. Aaron's hand was starting to look rather large. So shrinking it down to 5 is perfect. And now I'd almost like to see Sam go ahead and use that first attack. Well, we don't have the Vanillix yet. I was going to say use it to put a bunch of damage on Greninja, but that's not going to do anything yet because we do not have the Vanillix. On Aaron's side, we have a grass energy, or we have a water energy once again, so we can't attach to the Greninja if he has a way to get into the active. We'll also end up with at least 7 in the Lost Zone. I think exactly 7 after this Colress is finished. We do see a Manaphy and a Roxanne go into the Lost Zone from Aaron's side, putting us at 7. And now Mirage Gates are turned on. I believe there's a switch card in Aaron's hand, and we also see that water energy and the Mirage Gate. So he has everything he needs to get off that Radiant Greninja attack here. I don't see any reason to make any other play, honestly. The only question is, what should Aaron take out? We do see the Mirage Gate come down, getting a water and a grass energy. Had to be water and something that wasn't water. But then that manual attachment from hand will provide the second water, with the grass fulfilling the colorless attack cost on the Radiant Greninja. So we can probably just see Aaron switch straight into the Greninja. And then, of course, he doesn't do attach the energy still. And then the question is ultimately whether the Vanillix option is a bigger threat than allowing for another Serena EX to happen. Oh, I almost forgot to call out for a concealed cards. Aaron didn't forget though. So draws a couple more cards with concealed cards. He does choose to take out the Bond Suite and one of the Vanillites. So considering the 310 HP on that Serena EX to be more of an issue than the potential for turning off attacking. I don't blame Aaron on that part because, like we said, he has some ways to heal his Pokemon still left in deck. And we also, even though there's damage counters, putting the Giratina V to the point it can't attack once this Vanillix actually evolves, there is an evolution that needs to happen on that Giratina V, which will add HP to it when it evolves up to the V-Star, which means that ultimately, for its most meaningful attacks, Giratina is still on the table and going to be able to take a complete knockout on Serena EX later in the game. Now we do see there was a rare candy in hand on Samuel's side, so once he got that Vanillix off of the Irida, he was then able to go ahead and evolve straight away into it with that rare candy. Looked like there weren't any other rare candy in deck unless I missed something, so that could be problematic. And we do see a Steenie in deck, but I think the Bond Suite came down this turn as well. And that means that we can't evolve to our stage 1 just yet. And Sam choosing to go ahead and add damage counters, preventing Cramorant from attacking. So it has now, I believe, Aaron's dice are kind of, the translucentness is kind of mixing things up, but I think that it has a total of 80 damage on it. I'm not sure exactly what number is reflected there on those dice, but I believe it should be 80, because I believe that Serena lowers to having 30 left. Oh, you see Aaron attaching a jet energy to a comfy. Looking here, I think, for a Giratina V-Star and that Mirage Gate. We did get to the Mirage Gate, able to retreat back into another comfy and play out a Colress. So the Colress gives him a couple of battle VIP passes that are destined for the Lost Zone, 4 Steel Stone, a Counter Catcher, which is very unlikely to come into play, and that Super Rod. We're still missing the one big piece in that Tina V-Star. Aaron should be wanting to save the V-Star capability, the V-Star attack / ability, for the actual straight up knockout with Giratina V-Star. So he doesn't want to use a 4 Seal Stone if he can avoid it. And instead we're going to see a Super Rod shuffle some energy back in. And it looks like we're going to see an attack once again with that Radiant Greninja, using another Mirage Gate to power it up. And now Manaphy does protect Samuel's bench, but it does not protect the active. So Greninja will be able to take a knockout on that Manaphy. It will only be a single prize. The bench is still protected, but that does bring Aaron down to 2 prize cards remaining, meaning that on this next turn, if he's able to get Giratina V-Star and another Mirage Gate, as long as he has the energies in deck to attack with, well, we got a Mirage Gate off of the prizes, so Aaron just needs that Giratina V-Star to be able to finish the game out next turn. So that looked a little sus there, but what Sam was doing was using the Scovit ability to shuffle his cards together and then put them on the bottom of the deck and draw 1 new card. Then he used Babarrel's Industrious Incisors to draw 4 more, giving him a fresh new hand of 5 cards. And then we see him just go ahead. It looks like he used that first attack on Serena EX again, now turning off Greninja's ability to attack due to that Vanilla X. Aaron's still looking for a Tina V-Star. We'll attach a Jet Energy to the Comfy so he can get off of Flower Selecting. And it gets rid of a Mirage Gate because he also has the option of using Giratina V-Star. So we'll see the Super Rod shuffle back in some energies just to make sure. Then we'll see another Mirage Gate, and then obviously Comfy can just retreat into that Giratina. Aaron will use the V-Star and knock out the Serena EX entirely. Quick finish. Solid 6-0 performance there from Aaron, showing us how he gets the job done with his Lost Giratina deck. Alrighty, looks like we're ready for round 2. Once again, we have Aaron on the right. This is table 1, so Aaron probably stays until he loses a game. And then on the left, our next challenger is Michael. Michael's playing a Meowscarada deck, and so far he's won his first round with it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dig in. We do see that Sprigatito. It looks like Aaron is going second once again, or his opponent is going first once again. We see an attachment of basic grass energy played out of Gapejaw Bog, and then Squawkabilly EX, discarding the rest of Michael's cards so that he can get 6 fresh new ones. Looks like he's eyeing down, going ahead and benching the Gossifleur, which means he'll need to take damage from the Gapejaw Bog. And then playing Nest Ball to retrieve a basic Pokemon. Now here, Nest Ball gets around the Gapejaw Bog. There's no damage placed as a result of it, simply because you're not putting a Pokemon into play from your hand. It's not going from your hand onto your bench, it's going from your deck onto bench, so Gapejaw Bog does not activate. Aaron, looking at his hand, deciding to go ahead and just start things off with a Colress Experiment. So he's looking through his top 5 cards, selecting the 3 that are most meaningful. Looks like he does not expect to go behind on prizes, and also recognizes that everything that involves bench damage from Michael is likely to be damage counters, not straight up damage, so he won't need the Manaphy either. A Nest Ball to bring out a second Comfy, does once again get around the Gape Jaw Bog, so no damage gets placed. But there were plenty of Pokemon in Aaron's hand that he may want to bench, even if it means taking some damage. Little slip up there while shuffling. No harm, no foul. Nobody saw any cards, so we don't have to restart the shuffle to achieve good randomization. We see the first flower selecting here. It looks like we've got a Battle VIP Pass or a Colress. Aaron choosing to keep the Colress over the Battle VIP Pass. Once again, he does have another Nest Ball, and he does have several Pokemon in hand. So I understand that choice. We see Escape Rope forcing that Sprigatito onto the bench, and another Flower Select comes down. We see Radiant Greninja come into play as well, likely looking for the Concealed Cards ability. There we go, drawing 2 additional cards. I actually would have liked to have seen, if Aaron's thinking about attacking with Cramorant this turn, maybe he's not, but if he is, I would have liked to have seen that before the Concealed Cards. But no, it looks like instead we're looking at bringing out Giratina. So given that, I don't mind the sequencing there. Again, if Giratina was planned, I would have preferred, unless Aaron wanted to get 2 of them out to have them start developing, I could see arguments in favor of playing the Nest Ball before the Concealed Cards, just to thin your deck of Giratinas, unless there was something else that Aaron also wanted if he could have gotten it. We see Michael add an energy to the Squawkabilly, and then play a Professor's Research. Get another Sprigatito with its damage there, and another Nest Ball. And once again, we're in a situation where if Aaron gets enough stuff into the Lost Zone to hit that Magic 7 number, that Radiant Greninja is going to have a whole lot of fun if Aaron can also get to a Mirage Gate or 2. There's a number of things Aaron has to do to be able to use Radiant Greninja this turn, but I think it's certainly possible when he's got 2 Colors in hand and 2 Comfeys already out. That means he can easily see 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 more cards, and he just needs to get a Water Energy, a Switching Card, and a Mirage Gate. Start off with the Colress, makes sense to me. We do get a Switching Card here, and it looks like Aaron is letting go of the Boss's Orders and a Path to the Peak. Now with as many Jet Energies as he had in hand, I don't mind seeing that Concealed Cards get rid of one. Often we try to, as Lost Zone Giratina players, you try to not waste the Jet Energies since they're unable to be recovered with Super Rod. But in this case, I think it makes sense. We see a Path to the Peak come down into play, which will turn off the damage counter movement from Radiant Alakazam, as well as Meowscarada's potential abilities to send damage counters to the bench. That Switch card gets played, sending another Battle VIP Pass to the Lost Zone, but we did not get to the Mirage Gate that Aaron needed to see. So it looks like we will see a Jet Energy attachment to one of the Giratina V, and he's going to use the Abyss Seeking attack once again. Look at his top 4 cards. 2 go to hand, 2 go to the Lost Zone. We do get a Mirage Gate this time, as well as, was that a 4th Sealstone? Was that the other card that Aaron took there? I think so. Get another attachment from Michael, and then a Jacques coming down to search out 2 evolution Pokemon from Michael's deck. So we see an Eldegoss, which evolves from the Gossifleur, and then we see a Florigato to evolve from the Sprigatito. Both of these steps toward activating Meowscarada's presence and then energy needs. Now, the Eldegoss's ability, so it will search out 2 energies from your deck. It is not turned off by Path to the Peak, so that's what Michael's using right now. I think what we're likely to see from Aaron is so we're going to see him play definitely the Mirage Gate, again I think onto the Radiant Greninja, and then he's going to look for a way to get Radiant Greninja into the active with 2 Water Energies attached. So if he had another switching card, that would do it. Otherwise, he'd need like another Mirage Gate so that he could get a water energy attached as well as the jet energy to send it to the active. We cannot use concealed cards this time, but he can use the Colress there, and he can use the Forest Sealstone if he so chooses. We've also got the Sableye coming down. I would have expected that to be for a future turn, but what do I know? You see the Forest Sealstone getting attached, or okay, showing Michael exactly what it does so that he's able to use it to get any card he wants out of his deck. The ability on the tool there is not technically an ability that Giratina has, so Aaron is able to use it even though Path to the Peak is in play, if he chooses to. So far he hasn't chosen to, he just attached the tool. I do see Colress's Experiment coming down, searching out 3 cards, look like 2 Grass Energy and a Switch card. And then we'll see Giratina V-Star come into play. And then Aaron explaining to Michael exactly what Sableye does. Since there's 10 or more in the Lost Zone, he's able to spread damage around, damage counters around however he chooses, into a total of 120 damage or 12 damage counters, choosing to take out the Gossifleur and the Eldegoss there. I think that's a completely reasonable line of play, but I still feel like if he had been able to pull off the Greninja play, that might have been better. He could have taken out both Florigatos and left Michael's deck completely paralyzed. Whereas now, I think we're going to start seeing some evolutions up into the high HP Meowscaradas. Certainly Giratina can deal with Meowscarada as well, but I think Aaron would much prefer to take out the attackers before they have the ability to, do their attacks. Maybe I'm just a little too fast at wanting to use the V-Star to achieve that, but now Michael has 2 of these 310 HP behemoths just ready and raring to go. Michael takes his first prize now on that Sableye. And see how things proceed from here. And just having a quick check of what his counts are before he starts into the next turn. Before he proceeds with the turn. And I'm choosing to Lost Zone a water energy while keeping around a Super Rod. I think that's an okay choice. Super Rod is definitely valuable in the Giratina deck. And we do see the Giratina V-Star with 1 energy on it come up into the active. We'll see that Super Rod get played to bring back probably, just those 3 energies. I could have also seen, depending on what Aaron, what's in Aaron's deck, he knows better than I do at this point. I could have seen bringing back the Sableye as well. But this Mirage Gate will add 2 energies to that Giratina, enabling it to use the Star Requiem V-Star attack, taking 2 prizes and completely knocking out the Meowscarada. That's one way to go, and maybe that's the best way to go about it. I honestly am not sure. I still would have liked to have seen the Greninja play on the previous turn, even though Star Requiem would have no longer been on the table. I think it would have set Michael back so far that the game would have been almost over at that point. In any case, Aaron is going down to 2 prizes at this point, and that may be enough to lock things up, even though he can no longer knock out a Meowscarada in 1 hit. We do see Michael fumbling around a little bit, trying to decide what to promote. I'm not sure why he did not want to promote Meowscarada. I guess he didn't want to leave that Giratina in the active. Maybe he had the escape rope in mind. I'm also not sure why he attached to the Squawkabilly. I would have liked to have seen that go onto the Sprigatito. Obviously, didn't quite get a good look at what Michael has in hand. So maybe there's something going on there that explains exactly how things are progressing a little bit more. No, it looks like we just have a Clara, an Energy, and I think that was an Eldegoss. Aaron going ahead with another flower selecting play, evolving his other Giratina V into the V-Star. And looking through his massive hand, trying to decide what he wants to do. We'll see the Super Rod come down, shuffle back into Sableye. Is there even any energy in there? No. So just the Sableye and maybe a Comfy. Oh, looks like just a Sableye, okay. And then we'll see a Nest Ball come out to retrieve the Sableye. Aaron using the opportunity for deck search to glance and see what's left in deck. He only has 4 cards left. You see that Mirage Gate. Attach a Psychic Energy to Sableye. And looks like a Water Energy to the new Giratina V-Star. And now eyeing down the switch card to bring up Sableye and take out the Sprigatito, while also putting, looks like 6 damage counters onto the Meowscarada EX. Now that's enough that Giratina will be able to take a follow-up knockout. 280, certainly plus 60 is more than 310. You do see Michael play that Clara, which will get him 2 Pokemon and 2 energy cards, but with the Path of the Peak in play, that's not going to be enough. Ultimately, benching that Sprigatito realistically just adds an additional win condition for Aaron, in that now he could Sableye to knock it out as well as doing the knockout on the active with Giratina V-Star. It looks like that would actually be slightly harder to pull off though, so I'm sure we'll just see Aaron knock out the active with the Lost Impact attack. And yeah, Aaron wasting no time, going ahead, using Lost Impact, not playing any other cards, just going ahead, taking the knockout that way, and sealing up round 2. And now we're ready for round 3. As I said before, with this being table 1, we're again going to see Aaron with his Lost Tina deck, this time playing against John, who is piloting a Chin Pao deck. With that said, let's go ahead and dig in. Aaron once again starting with Comfy, but this time he gets to go first, or he has to go first, depending on how things came down. Either way, he's able to Flower Select immediately, sends an energy to the Lost Zone, and selects to take the Giratina V and attach a Grass Energy to it before passing. On John's side, we see a Nest Ball come down. Nest Ball probably retrieving, my guess would be a Frigibax, but could also be a Chin Pao, perhaps. Perhaps needing to use that Concealed Cards ability to dig a little further into his deck. Since Chin Pao's ability, Shivery Chill, will retrieve energy cards that Greninja can conceal. Okay, so then my guess is, oh, we see a retreat. That is not what I was expecting. I was expecting that we would just see the escape rope get played, but perhaps that would have been worse. Maybe maybe John needs to decides he wants to go ahead and get more energy into the discard for retrieval later. Perhaps he's wanting to conserve that escape rope for later. But in any case, I would be very surprised if we don't see Concealed Cards drawing 2 more cards on John's side of the board. We do get a Frigibax established on the bench, and there's no supporters for John, but we do have that Rare Candy Baxcalibur combination ready for next turn. I think we're probably just going to see a pass here ultimately. I don't think there's much else we might see. A little bit of me could see playing the Ultra Ball to get a Bidoof down, just in case we're able to make use of it next turn by finding a Barrel. But yeah, it looks like we're just getting the pass. Another Comfy on Aaron's side, as well as a Manaphy to protect from that Radiant Greninja. Lost Zone will send Roxanne to the, well, Flower Selecting will send Roxanne to the Lost Zone, as well as a Nest Ball after Jet Energy brings in another Comfy. And then Colress will send those 2 Battle VIP passes that were just 1 turn too late. From here, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot that Aaron can do for this turn, but he could put the Path to Peak in place. This now will make it so that Chin Pao cannot use Shivery Chill to retrieve energies out of the deck, and Greninja cannot conceal cards. So while seemingly a somewhat minor thing, that actually does a lot to inhibit John's play here. I would be surprised if we don't see that Rare Candy evolution on the Baxcalibur. And it looks like John is considering this Ultra Ball as well. Perhaps trying to decide what he wants to discard here. I can see 2 different ways to do this. He needs to have 2 cards remain in his hand. Ultimately, he's going to discard all but 2 cards, right? All but 3. He's going to discard 2 cards now. and then he'll have to discard the other 2 with the superior energy retrieval if he wants to use that to take a knockout this turn. I do see that Bidoof come down now. I think, looking back, I said that might be the way you wanted to go at the end of last turn. And, you know, hindsight is 20/20. But I think that had that play been made, we might see something very different happening now. I don't know that I like the play of superior energy retrieval yet. Taking a single prize knockout would have been kind of minor. And this game is bound to be a slower one. So I'm kind of in favor of John's just passing there. I think that was a good choice. Aaron goes ahead and Lost Zones the Radiant Greninja, since he's got Path in play and is hoping it's going to stick for a while. And then we also see a Lost Zone from the next flower selecting of an Escape Rope. Colress will get rid of another Path and a Battle VIP. So that's 3 paths that have been gone through. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's only 2. Earlier when I thought Aaron was sending 1 to the Lost Zone, he didn't. So there may be 1 more in Aaron's deck. We also see him playing the Mirage Gate here to get energies onto each of the Giratina V Pokemon. So my guess is we're not going to see an attack this turn, but I could be wrong. Nope, I was wrong. Okay, so Giratina V shot up to the active with the Jet Energy, probably evolving now. And the question then is whether or not Aaron is... Okay, yeah, he's using the Lost Impact attack there to take 2 prizes on that Chin-Pao. I wasn't sure the exact count of cards that Aaron had in the Lost Zone, so I wasn't sure if Star Requiem was available or not, but it'll be available next turn for sure. Now we do see Path getting bumped by Pokestop, and then Radiant Greninja jumping straight in to do what Radiant Greninja does and draw cards. We see an Irida come down. Irida can retrieve any water Pokemon, so perhaps another Chin-Pao, and any item card. If we see Chin-Pao come down, I think we might... Let's see. I think John plays Earthen Vessel. We might want to see that to combine with the Superior Retrieval that's in hand. But no, John just selects a Battle VIP pass, looking for a card, I guess, just to discard so that he can evolve that Bidoof. We'll see an Ultra Ball, discarding the Battle VIP and another Pokestop. And I'm sure we're getting a Bibarel at this point. And then Bibarel will be used to draw 4 new cards before John makes use of the Pokestop, assuming he does so. John quickly just taking track of how many energy are in the discard there. And then drawing 4 cards, which look like they're basically here to help him with getting energy out of the discard. We see Superior Energy Retrieval getting thumbed around. I'm all but certain that this will be played. Yes, and it looks like John's going to play it, discarding the Iron Hands EX and his other Bidoof. And he will get 1, 2, 3 water energy out of the discard. And one of these will go onto the Radiant Greninja so that it can retreat. And the other 2 probably onto that Chin-Pao so that it can attack. Of course, using the Shivery Chill ability now to get 2 more energy straight out of his deck. And right now, John has 4 energy in his hand, but he needs 5 to take a knockout on the Giratina V-Star. So I think that means he's going to have to get a little bit lucky off of the Pokestop. I wonder if he's going to attach the energies before using Pokestop. In theory, you should definitely use Pokestop first, so that if you can't get what you need off of it, you are able to adjust your play. Now, naturally, John was able to get what he needed with that Earthen Vessel, probably choosing to discard the Nest Ball there in order to get 2 more energies straight from the deck into hand. And I think John may have been making a mental note there that there are no lightning energies available, so he won't be able to activate Iron Hands EX unless he draws lightning energy off of the prizes. Certainly good to know that. I also like that He has another superior energy retrieval in hand, but he is conserving it for later. Benching that Frigibax is important as well, in case Aaron had his eyes on taking out that Baxcalibur. And now we see, looks like 5 energy go onto the Chien-Pao and 1 onto the Radiant Greninja. And then, yes, using the attack from Chien-Pao to send 5 energies off of it into the discard, doing 300 damage and knocking out the Giratina V-Star. Aaron quickly promotes a Comfey so that he can start off his turn with Flower Selecting. Looks like he's choosing between a Switch card and one other card. I did not notice what the other card was. It was Switch card or Sableye. I probably choose the Switch card there as well. I think it does more to let you continue your turn. And now it's either a Comfey or a Giratina V. Don't begrudge Aaron that choice at all. And we may see... Yep, looks like Aaron's thinking about benching the Cramorant, potentially to retreat into it and attack for 110 damage onto the Chien-Pao. I like that play. This way, half of its health is gone. John would take, a knockout on it pretty easily. However, then Aaron has the capability of returning knockout with the Cramorant, should he be able to recycle it, and getting, evening up the prize exchange there. Oh, but I spoke too soon. We're seeing Aaron play Boss's Orders to bring up the Frigibax. So Aaron going ahead and taking a prize anyway, choosing to do that instead of adding some damage to Chien-Pao. I'm not sure that going on to odd prizes is especially helpful, but I guess as long as Aaron has access to his second Sableye, he'll always be able to take a knockout with Sableye on Bibarel, barring some sort of Jirachi interaction. So Aaron looking at it as, hey, well, as long as I take out the Chien-Pao with a Tina V-Star next turn, then I can close the game out with Sableye. On John's side of the board, we do see Shivery Chill retrieving 2 more energies from the deck. We know he already has the superior energy retrieval, so that will certainly give him as many cards as he wants in terms of energy. But the question to me is more about what he's going to attack. Being behind on prizes, I guess he can use that counter catcher to bring up the Giratina V-Star that has energy on it. And I suspect that's what we'll see. I'm sorry, did I say V-Star? I meant V. Looks like we will use Super Cold to attach. This time he only needs 4 energies on the Chien-Pao, assuming that he's using the counter catcher Gust. But he's attaching all 5 to the Chien-Pao, I guess hoping that it just doesn't get knocked out. I think I would prefer attaching the 5th energy somewhere else, because anywhere that it goes, it will be usable. It can be discarded for Chien-Pao's attack. And I think putting on the Greninja, for instance, could be a better play, a more powerful play. We do see John go ahead and use the Pokestop, getting 3 items, so basically using it as a draw 3. Very nice, always what you want to see with Pokestop. And then we do see that counter catcher come out, bring up the Giratina V, and John will go down to just 2 prizes remaining in his deck. If he is able to get to a lightning energy from his prizes, if one of the 2 that he takes are lightning, he will be in a prime spot to win the game no matter what. And yes, he does get the lightning energy. So as long as he has some sort of Pokemon search for next turn, he'll be able to bring back, yes, there's an Ultra Ball in hand as well. So he will, without a doubt, be able to bring back Iron Hands. I say without a doubt. Aaron could always play Roxanne, even though we see 1 Roxanne in the Lost Zone. It's possible that he plays 2. But that's the only way that Aaron can keep John from closing up this game on the following turn. Aaron desperately flower selecting, looking for an out that will preserve the game, give him what he needs. He chooses to get rid of a Mirage Gate here, which surprises me a little bit. We do see a counter catcher come down, bringing a barrel up. And then a super rod getting played to recycle 3 energies, one each of water, grass, and psychic. The Mirage Gate will again be played, attaching the energies presumably to the Giratina V-Star. And Aaron having a quick double check, glancing through his deck once again, making sure that what he thinks is there is indeed there. Now, Aaron has not, he has not played supporter yet, so he did find and is able to use that copy of Roxanne to shuffle both players' hands. I'm not sure why he let John keep the Chin Pao, though. I guess knocking out the barrel, it leaves John to only have access to the cards. You know, he'll draw 2. It limits his access to those 2 cards instead of being able to refresh his hand with 5, but we will see Chin Pao able to use the Shivery Chill ability to search out some energies from deck. Greninja can always conceal cards unless Aaron finds what might be his last path to the peak. It doesn't look like there's a path to the peak to be found here, and so he can attach basically any energy and retreat the Comfy and then use his V-Star attack. Maybe what we see. I think that's fine as long as he has 1 energy remaining in hand. And Aaron choosing to count the energies in the discard, hoping that there's enough energy down there, and without Babarrel as draw, that John will be unable to get enough energies in play to knock out the Giratina V-Star. Yeah, it looks like that's what's going to happen. We do see the Comfy retreat. Oh, but Aaron choosing to just use Cramorant to attack Babarrel, not taking a knockout. And I think, so we see Ultra Ball, we see a Super Rod. I think I'd like to see John's taking some time here. I think I'd like to see him play the Pokestop. Yeah, okay. We reached the same decision. And with this Pokestop, okay, so he gets 2 cards. And that's kind of what I was looking for, because I'd like to see him Super Rod the Iron Hands back into play. And then Ultra Ball to get it out. I think if we see that, and then his hand will be down to just the superior energy retrieval, which means he'll be able to draw with Babarrel. We're just looking at that point for some way to switch what is active. And I guess the hard part is that he needs to thin enough to get access to a lightning energy. Looks like John is eyeing down either a superior energy retrieval, discarding the Ultra Ball, or yeah, it looks like that's what we're thinking. I'm not sure how I feel about this, because it means Iron Hands is not a potential play. But that's the direction that John is choosing to go. Okay, so he'll get 4 water energies back into hand. That'll give him enough that Babarrel will be able to retreat. He can also use Greninja's Concealed Cards ability. Oh, not even using the Concealed Cards ability, just... So we'll see the retreat with the Bibarel. We're committing now to that Chin Pao. And now we see the Super Rod getting played. Putting 2 energies and the Iron Hands back in the deck. So Iron Hands is still on John's mind. He just is not going there yet. Using the Shivery Chill ability to get those 2 water energies straight back out off of the Super Rod. And again, I'd actually almost like to have seen them stay in the deck long enough for Bibarel to draw 4 fresh cards. Now, John can just attach them however he wants, and maybe that'll be enough. See, it looks like 1 is getting attached to the Bibarel, and 1 to the Baxcalibur. So John just kind of spreading things out. Now he does use the Industrious Incisors to draw 4 fresh cards. Gets to a boss's orders, and that will seal up the game, folks. He has not played a supporter yet this turn. He's able to boss up the Giratina V-Star, and then he will take it out with the Smattering of Energy, doing up to 360 damage this turn. So Aaron, unfortunately, well, I guess it depends on whose side you're on. Aaron dethroned from that Table 1 spot. So we will see John claiming that Table 1 throne now. Aaron forced to go elsewhere, as John now is one of the few undefeated players in the tournament. He might have at this point actually been the only undefeated player, if I recall. So maybe you're like Seagrove and you're a fan of seeing Giratina go away, moving to lower tables, but certainly John is in that camp at this point. And unfortunately, if you're a Tina fan, or if you just want to see Aaron finally seal up the rest of his points and start on his progression towards that attempt at a stipend, he's missing out a little bit this time around. And now it's time for round 4, the final round of our league challenge. For better or worse, even though Aaron's gone, we now have Braden, and Braden is also playing Giratina Lost Box, or Lost Giratina as I prefer to call it. So this is going to look similar, perhaps, to our previous round, because we also have John still here, still playing his Chin Pao deck. So once again, Lost Tina versus Chin Pao. Let's see how this one goes. Fist bump before the final round, and we see a Chin Pao start from John, but it looks like Braden is going first. He gets down 2 Comfies right away, has a Battle VIP pass. He hasn't used 2 of them, in fact, and also benched the Giratina V from hand. Now we'll see. Looks like he's eyeing down off of the Battle VIP pass a Greninja and a Manaphy. And then we'll see another Battle VIP pass played. This could get Cramorant, could get another Comfy, but in the meantime, we're first going to see Braden checking his energy counts, going through, confirming some of the prize, or yeah, seeing what's prized. Looks like he has 3 water energies, he's got 4 grass energies. I'm only seeing 1 psychic. Now I don't remember what was in hand, but that definitely should provide, that's definitely relevant. Counting now, it looks like the jet energies, and now, okay, he's made his decision. So he didn't have a psychic energy in hand as well, so I suspect there's like 2 psychic energies prized then, and looks like he is going to decide on that Cramorant from the Battle VIP pass. So now it looks like Braden is going to go ahead and conceal cards with that psychic energy that was in hand. And when we start flower selecting, first choice is between Roxanne and a Mirage Gate. Braden chooses to keep the Roxanne, then he attach retreats from Comfy to Comfy and performs another flower selection. Super Rod versus Psychic Energy. Now, we know that that's the only Psychic Energy still available other than the one in the discard. So I think it makes sense that Braden chooses to keep it over that Super Rod. And we see him go ahead and play down Path immediately on turn 1. And pass the turn over. So now John has a heck of an uphill battle. Bidoof comes down, Radiant Greninja comes down, but neither of these Pokemon can do anything right now. We'll also see a Chin Pao come into play potentially. John thinking about it, and he does go ahead and bench the Chin Pao, attaches a water energy to it, And I don't see how John can do anything at this point. I think he just has to pass. No supporters in hand, not even a Frigibax to start that evolution line. Path of the Beast just really shutting down John's deck with the kind of poor start that he had as well. Braden going ahead and jumping into another flower selecting. Having to choose between the Tina V-Star and that Mirage Gate. He already has 2 Mirage Gates in hand, so I think that choice makes a lot of sense. Goes ahead and evolves. As slow as things are going on John's side of the table, I don't mind that evolution one bit, but now Braden has to decide, is he going to just attach and retreat with the Comfy, knowing that he cannot get to another Psychic Energy even with the Mirage Gates. He chooses no, he's going to go ahead and attach it to the Tina where it's ultimately going to belong. And go from here. And John draws into another Water Energy and ends up just having to attach and pass. See another flower selecting on Braden's side, and we have a choice between a Lost Vacuum and a Jet Energy. I personally would like to see the Jet Energy taken and then attached to the other Comfy so that he can flower selecting an additional time and then retreat into the Cramorant to attack, assuming that no better plays come along between now and then. Looks like that's where we're headed. Flower selecting again gives a Colress or a Path. Definitely want to take Colress here. The Path of the Peak is already in play, and John is struggling hard. So, let's see, 5 cards here, and obviously the Battle VIP Pass is the easy decision to send to the Lost Zone. I think if it were me, I would, yes, I agree completely with Braden there. I would get rid of the Tina V-Star because chances are pretty good that we're not going to need it. Now we see a retreat into the Cramorant. I was wondering whether we would see Cramorant attacking or if Braden was going to speed things up on us. Attaches the Forest Seal Stone just for future purposes. And finally, on John's side, we do see a Frigibax come into play. Now Braden has this switch cart available this time. But I think he may decide to just take the knockout using the Cramorant, knowing that he can immediately go into an additional knockout next turn. That would be my decision, at least. And that's where Braden settles as well. And then we see the Chin-Pao that has 2 energy on it move to the front. Okay, so Braden has some plays now. He can play Rare Candy. I'm sorry, not Braden. John has plays. Being able to Rare Candy the Baxcalibur up into a... well, the Frigibax up into a Baxcalibur. And then, yes, this Ultra Ball discording. Other cards that maybe feel kind of important, but getting that Bibarel so that he can finally get some draw going is definitely a very high priority for John. And we'll see him now pull in a fresh hand of 5 new cards. And we'll see what those cards give him. I love the giant coins that John is using to mark his abilities. I use these little thin ability used acrylic markers. And I don't know, there's just something, the coins that take up almost the entire card just feel like a massive, powerful statement. Do see, it looks like John's going to bench another Frigibax. And we do see a 2 energy knockout. Braden promoting a Comfy. He does have that switch card in hand from last turn. He did not end up playing it. It looks like he got a Psychic Energy off of the prizes as well, so that's helpful. And the Comfy just giving him 2 energy cards to choose. You see Braden choosing to take that Jet Energy. I think that's a fine choice. Now, there's a couple options available to Braden here. He could go ahead, and he has Boss's Orders in hand, so he could bring up Baxcalibur and see if that is enough to set John back so far that it ruins the game. Or he could just go ahead and take a knockout on the Chin-Pao. If he's taking the knockout on the Chin-Pao, I feel like that, you know, he goes down to 2 prize cards while his opponent has only 5, has only taken 1, has 5 left. So I feel like that might be the stronger play, but both options are good options. So it's really down to Braden's preference. Given that he does have that Tina V in hand and or have the nest ball, I think I agree with his decision here to bench it, and that makes me lean also toward going ahead and knocking out the Chin Pao. He can attach extra energies to both of the Tinas at this point with the Mirage Gates. If it were me, I would probably go ahead and get in one more flower selecting with the Comfy though. I'd use the Jet Energy. He's taking so many prizes at this point, he doesn't need to conserve the energies so much that he doesn't play the gates. But he instead chooses to go ahead and use the switch card to get into the active. That's fine too. We do see Mirage Gate coming down to attach energy to both Girautinas. And it's worth noting, Braden does still have several energy in hand. He has that Jet Energy that I was looking at, but he has a few others as well. Flower selecting here. Definitely agree with taking the Giratina V-Star. And then I think what I would like to see is for him to go ahead, attach the Jet Energy to the Giratina V-Star that has, you know, that is energized on the bench there. And then he can Lost Zone that Jet Energy and the Water Energy, which would put enough cards into the Lost Zone for him to use the V-Star attack as his next attack if he needs to. That is the choice that Braden makes, and we see John promoting that Frigibax. Now that's a little telling that we're in a tough spot for John. He doesn't have a whole lot of comeback here. He may know already what's prized and what isn't, but certainly if he's got any questions, I think that Hisuian Heavy Ball is the perfect card to play. We do have a Nest Ball as well that John can play to get out another attacker. But unfortunately, I think no matter what he does, Braden will have the answer. I don't see, unless he's able to get to an Iono and leave Braden with, you know, very few cards, I don't see how John's going to be able to dig out of this. There's that Chin Pao that really is just about the only attacker left on John's side of the board. But I don't think, like, just getting it down and even powered up to take a knockout on this Giratina is just not enough. And I don't even know if John has enough energy in the discard to make that play. One energy will have to go to the Frigibax so it can retreat, unless John has a switching card that I didn't see. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. So he's discarding a Battle VIP and a barrel to get back just the 2 energies that were attached to the Chin Pao previously. He'll attach one to the Frigibax, one to the Chin Pao, and then he is going to go ahead and draw with the barrel, drawing 4 more cards. We do get the Pokestop, so John will be able to use abilities now, and that might be enough to at least help him out. Unfortunately, oh, he does play the Irida. So unfortunately, once this Irida comes down, I do think that John's fate is kind of sealed. Because now, even if he doesn't end up with the Chin Pao in the active, Braden there, you can see him preparing the boss's orders. He's going to be able to bring up the Chin Pao no matter what. I think off of the Irida, Baxcalibur as a choice is fine. And I feel like he almost needs to get the Earthen Vessel. With Earthen Vessel and Chin Pao's ability, he can get the energy he needs to take the knockout on the active Pokemon. But, oh, choosing instead to go Frigibax and Earthen Vessel. Getting a Lightning Energy and a Water Energy. So it's starting to seem like John is going to make an Iron Hands EX play, but I don't know, I don't see how that's going to come into effect. He has, yes, the energy to power up Iron Hands now, But he's already retreated once. I don't see where this is working out for John. So see the energies here. And okay, he conceals cards to get 2 more cards, happens to hit another energy, and the Baxcalibur that he ended up putting back into the deck. Certainly free to evolve into that second Baxcalibur, and then looks like he does choose to just go ahead and take the knockout on the Giratina V-Star. So lots of things going on. Maybe John just didn't want to, maybe he wanted to do the concealed cards and see if he got any special outs, but it certainly didn't pan out that way. So Braden goes ahead. All he has to do is promote and attach to use that V-Star attack that just instantly knocks out the Chien-Pao for his last prizes. But he is showing John, oh, I also had Boss's Orders, so if you had made a different play, perhaps attaching with attacking with Greninja for a couple prizes, it was still going to be over. And with that, we end up with Braden over on the right-hand side, winning the challenge. He went undefeated, however, he did have 1 tie. So he ended up with a 3-0-1 record, and the closest people under that record were 3-1, including John and Aaron. Aaron won his 4th round, and another player that we didn't even see. So everything kind of worked out well for Braden and kind of for Aaron in the end, although the points for 2nd or 3rd place, I don't remember which he ended up with, I think it was 3rd, unfortunately did not add on to his points for the year, but if he does pursue that stipend, should help out just a little bit there at least. With that, we'll go ahead. We've come to the end of the video. If you're still watching and listening, I will implore you to please leave a like, a subscribe, and comment too. If I'm like totally botching this whole thing, let me know. Let me know how I could do it better, because I'll try to do that. With that, this has been Jeffrey, JGB146 Blake for Hoopa Hideout. Thank you for watching.